Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're talking about solving equations with natural logs. Solving equations with natural logs. Okay, let's take a look at equation number one, or example number one. We have two natural log quantity x minus 5 equals 7. Now there's two different ways to do this, so I'm going to rewrite it over here because I want to show you that second way when we're done with the first. Okay, what I would do is I want to get that natural log by itself. So I see that I'm multiplying 2 times this, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. When I do that, I get natural log quantity x minus 5 equals 7 divided by 2 is a nice clean decimal. It would just be 3.5. Now, if it was 7 divided by 3, that would be something that is 3 repeating, right? So you want to make sure that you would leave that in a fraction form. But for this, it's okay to turn it into a decimal. Now, once we have this logarithm like this, what we can do is, remember, the base of a natural log is e, right? So I'm going to throw a little e in there. We'll use a green pen. And when we have it looking like this, we can now do our scorpion or our snail here and say e to the 3.5 power equals x minus 5. All right, we want to get our, so at this point we could enter this into our calculator, but you do not want to do that. You want to wait until the last possible minute to enter it into your calculator. Because if you round too soon, you're going to get a rounding error. So what we're going to do is we want to get that x by itself by adding 5 to both sides. So e 3.5 plus 5 equals x. Now we are ready to enter this into our calculator. When we go to do that, so let's take a peek. So on mine, if I hit shift and my natural log here, and then let me scooch this over, 3.5. So I don't have to put a caret for mine. You might have to, but I just say 3.5, and that will give me this right here, 33.1. And then all I have to do is plus 5 and so I'm making sure that I'm paying attention to my order of operations. So what I get is 38.1155. If it doesn't specify, I like to go about 4 decimal spaces. I also use a little about symbol here to say that, hey, I'm estimating this. That way, if I plug this number back in up here, you'll see that we'll get real close to 7. It won't be exact because we have our rounding. Okay, so now the other method, I wrote this twice because I wanted to show you, is remember your rule, if it's multiplying in the front, it's the same as booting it to the back and making an exponent. So if we take this guy and we boot it to the back here, we would have natural log x minus 5 squared equals 7. Again, let's put an e here, and we're going to use our little scorpion or our snail to say e to the 7th power. So e to the 7th power equals x minus 5 squared. Now the opposite of squaring something is to square root it. So I put a 2 here. You don't need to do that. I was just showing, I don't know why I did that, out of habit. So this cancels this, and I have x minus 5. I'm going to move it to the other side. So x minus 5 equals the square root of e to the 7th power. Now remember, the square root, when we do that, like that 2 that I had written here, it can boot it to the back. So I say x minus 5 equals e to the 7 divided by 2 power. Again, that's 3.5, but I want to show you when you enter it into your calculator. So plus 5 to both sides, we end up with x equals e 7 halves plus to the 7 halves power plus 5. So if you wanted to enter that in as a fraction instead of a decimal, you would say e, and for mine I have to hit shift e, and then parentheses 7 divided by 2. Enter that, and then plus 5, and you'll see that I get the same answer, 38.1155. So either method works. I just wanted to show you how it's the same thing. So let's take a look at this next one. So for this guy, again, we want to get that exponent. Our variable is up in the exponent here, so we're going to have to convert it from exponential form to logarithmic form. First, we're going to divide both sides by 4. So we end up with e to the negative 2x power equals, now 17 over 4, right? If I divide 17 divided by 4, I get 4.25, 4 1/4. Again, that's a nice clean decimal. so we can turn it into a decimal. But again, if it's something that is repeating, you don't want to turn it into a decimal. Okay, at this point now, what we can do, because that exponent, the variable is up in the exponent, we're going to use logarithmic form. Because it's a base of e, we're going to use our natural log. Natural log, and in order to do that, we take the outer two and smash them together. There's an e here, 4.25 equals negative 2 times x. Let's double check that we did that correctly. Use our snail and we say e to the negative 2x power equals 4.25. We did that correctly, so we're good. So that means we have natural log 4.25 equals negative 2x. Now to get that x by itself, I'm currently multiplying, and the opposite of multiply is divide. Negative 2. Cancel those out, so I have x equals, because I'm just flipping it around. I like my negative to be upstairs, but it doesn't matter. Negative ln 4.25 divided by 2. So let's enter that into our calculator. So this is your exact answer, and then we're going to say x is approximately. So we'll say, so negative shift log, or sorry, not shift, just regular natural log. That's what I meant. 4.25. Whatever that garbage is, we're going to divide that by 2. So divided by 2, we end up with negative 0.7235, because again, I want to round. So negative 0.7235. Good. The other information is, let's back up on number 1 here. 38 point, so whenever you're doing a natural log or a logarithm like this, you want to plug your answer back in to make sure you don't get a negative here. And if we took roughly 38 and we plugged it into here, we would not get a negative, so in our original equation, so we would be fine. I forgot that vital information. Okay, so let's try this other one here. So now we have natural log. Okay, so same idea here. We're going to take our natural log and we want to get that by itself. So if we divide by 5, we end up with natural log x equals 35 divided by 5 gives us 7. This is an e here, right? So we can use our, since we're trying to figure out what this base here is, we can use e to the 7th power equals x. So e to the 7th, oops, let's try that again. E to the 7th power equals x. So we went from logarithmic form to exponential form in order to figure out what that x was. Okay, so this is our exact answer. If we want our estimated answer, we would say e to the 7th power. So we would say shift natural log for mine, e to the 7th power gives me 1096.6332. So 1096.6332 is our answer. And if we take that information, we plug it into here, we would not have a negative, so this is correct. All right, let's look at this next one. So for this guy, we want to get that e by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So e to the x plus 1 power equals 71 divided by 4 gives me 17.75, negative 17.75, because of positive divided by negative, my bad. Okay, so now I'm ready to use my natural log. Natural log e negative 17.75 equals x plus 1. We have to stop right there because this is negative, and remember, that's not allowed. So at this point, no solution. There is no solution here because we are not allowed to have a negative here. Hopefully that information helps, and we will see you next time.